Happy Thursday, everybody. How are you? So, while I'm waiting to see if this pops up, I just thought I would tell you, you may be wondering, I told you that my daughter had prom last weekend. Well, it was fantastic. My daughter had a wonderful time. So it was her senior prom, and it was just so nice that she got to have her boyfriend, who actually lives far away, able to join her. And then my other daughter, who's a sophomore, she also went to one of the churches in the area, has a bunch of churches come together to do a church prom. Like kids from like over an hour away or something was there. So she got to meet a bunch of new people. So that was pretty awesome. And then the after prom that they had at our high school here was game themed, like decorations like Candyland and Monopoly and Operation. And then they had like a casino area and then like arcade games and bingo, just all kinds of fun. So we got to take our son to preview it. And like they had a big bounce house. My son got to jump in that. And then they had people had donated their cornhole sets to use. And so we played cornhole and we had fun as well before they got to come and have fun for prom or after prom. So it was just a great weekend. So let's get into it. Today, we are going to talk about overwhelm, right? So us moms, we just juggle so many different things, so many roles, so many responsibilities. I mean, a lot of times it just feels like we're drowning, right? So there's just, it seems like there's just so many tasks, things that we said yes to, or that we just think we have to do, right? And it just ends up with us just feeling that heaviness of overwhelm, right? So what causes that overwhelm? And how do we get out of it, right? So some of the common causes of overwhelm for moms is, I mean, there's that pressure, right? The societal pressure of being the perfect mom, right? So we're told that we need to have it all together. We have to do everything flawlessly, or at least that the pictures should look flawless, right? I mean, cooking the gourmet meals, having a spotless house, and being there for our kids all the time. But really, that's just not possible. And it's not healthy to hold ourselves to impossible standards, especially ones that we don't even want or know where they came from, right? And I mean, yeah, we've been told, right? I mean, especially recently, that is not needed, right? That those standards are impossible, that we don't need to do these things. But we're also told that as women, we can do it all. And so we try to do it all. We try to do it all because we're told we could do it all. So then even though society is now kind of, backing up and saying, oh, actually, you don't have to be able to do it all, but you can do it all, right? It's that you can do it all that makes us go, yeah, that means that to be the best me, I have to be able to do it all. And that's when we get frustrated and overwhelmed because we can't just do it all, especially because we're not defining what all is for us. We're looking at what all is, or what we think that everyone else is thinking what all is. Okay, so let's kind of go on. So, another cause of overwhelm is just trying to do too much. So even when we are more clear about what all is for us, then we set out all these things that we want to do, and we still may take on too many commitments or say yes to every request, or feel like we have to be superwoman, right? I mean, we still feel that, especially if you're a people pleaser, right? Which most of us are taught to be, right? When as girls, it was just kind of like, oh, do this or do that, or, be nice, or, don't say mean things. Do this for somebody, help this person, right? We were taught to kind of please people. And it's just not sustainable, right? So it's important to learn to prioritize and say no when necessary. And kind of remember that a yes to someone else is a no to something more important or something for yourself, right? So you want to hold those yeses more dearly, so that you can be doing the things that you actually want to do in your life, and not just because someone else has asked. There's also constant noise and distraction around us, right? I mean, social media, work emails, kids, and all their activities, your spouse and all your spouse's activities, cleaning the house, right? I mean, all the noise is around us. And it can be hard to find that peace and quiet to just breathe and relax. Okay, so how do we get out of this overwhelm? So first is self-care. Yeah, you may say it's overused, but it is so important. And that means when you realize you're in overwhelm, you stop and you do one of two things. Two things that seem to work well for me is either, for me, choose one task and just go do it, right? Because then that gets you momentum. Or kind of go for a 5-minute walk to clear your head. So, I mean, especially if you know that those tasks are tasks that are kind of the prioritized, have to get done, then you can just go and say, nope, I'm not doing overwhelm today. And just go into that one task and get it done. And that momentum will kind of feed into getting other tasks done. The other thing is, if you're not clear and you're not really sure, but you have a lot, or you think you have a lot, then that's the time to just kind of take that self-care moment of stepping away, taking like a 5-minute walk. Movement really helps to kind of, get the fluids moving in your body, and that kind of removes some of that junk from your brain, so that you can then start to have more clarity. And it only takes something like 5 minutes, right? It doesn't take a lot, but then you get that break, that time to breathe. So in essence, those are the two that I'm suggesting, but there's two things. It's either a get to work or do a short self-care item. Okay. And self-care doesn't have to be a massage or getting your nails done, right? And I think, that's kind of, the things we've, a lot of people have started to say, is just taking care of yourself physically, emotionally, and mentally. So it could be as simple as going for a walk, like I said, even a quick shower or hot bath, spending time doing something you love. Like I crochet, sometimes I draw, sometimes I read. But when you take care of yourself, then you have more energy and capability to handle the things we need to do. Okay, so then after you kind of get that break in or get that next task done, then you can brainstorm out what you need to do and write it on paper, because it's something you can work with, right? Something you can see, you can actually, it connects better to your brain when you actually are doing the writing, that those are the things you're putting down. Then you can decide, do I want to delete? Do I want to delegate? Or do I want to do it? Or do I want to schedule it for some other time? And a lot of times it's easier to see that on paper, right? And, I have a lot to say about that process of delete, delegate, and do. So I'll probably save that for another week, maybe next week. But once you've gone through the process and your today's do list, then, do them one at a time. Now, from, all the scheduling, I would have said schedule it in your day as to when you're going to do it and make sure you have buffer. But Once you do this process, if you're just in overwhelm and you've narrowed it down to those key things that you have to finish today, then you just take, what's my first one? And you go do it. And that's kind of, how I said in the beginning of I'm in overwhelm and I don't want to do overwhelm anymore. I go do the task, right? So if you already have that prioritized as what's the next most important task, then you would just do it then. This is just a way to find out, oh, what's that first next important task to do? And then you just go do it. Again, creating the momentum to get the next task done if there's more you have to do that are the priority. Okay. And that's the other thing, is getting into action, because what overwhelm does is it keeps you stuck in not doing the things you've said you want to do. And then that just perpetuates into, oh, now I even have more to do because I took time not doing anything for a really long time and just sitting here and thinking about all the stuff. When if you just go do one, you get the momentum and you can knock a couple more out potentially, depending on the time you have. Okay. So that's kind of I'm in overwhelm. How do I get out? Okay. Now we get into how to remove or decrease overwhelm from happening, right? So here's some good ideas for that. Is first to set boundaries. So learn to say no to commitments that don't align with your priorities or values. Set aside designated time for the roles you play, work, family, personal time, and stick to it as much as possible. Like I said, schedule those things in to those times. And it's also important to communicate those boundaries to others, so they know that, what to expect. Like if you're doing something personal just for you at home, to say, hey, I'm going to go spend 30 minutes doing this. Please don't interrupt me unless it's an emergency, right? Stuff like that can help you to get in that time that you want to have in to do some of those things that you're wanting to do. Next is getting organized, right? So creating routines, systems, those can help you manage your time and tasks more efficiently, so that you're not constantly feeling like you have to play catch up on the things you are wanting to do. Things like cleaning schedules, meal planning, using a planner and app to keep track of your schedule. And I know you're saying, I don't have time to, I know you think you don't have time to create any kind of plan, but that is the point, right? Start with a smaller plan, like what dinner you will have tonight, or what dinner you'll have for 3 nights this week. And then maybe it's what dinner you'll have for 5 nights, right? But, even I'm not always organized, but any amount of planning will help a day run smoother. So even if it's something you think about in the morning and go, what am I going to have for dinner? Make a decision, decide what it's going to be. And then when you get home what you have to do for that. Also, reach out for support when you need it. This could mean talking to a friend, joining a mom's group, or seeking professional help, or getting a coach, right? Remember, asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. And there are so many people that when you actually talk to someone about what's going on, and especially if you're writing it down, you kind of, get more clarity on what you actually are wanting. And you can, tell yourself, oh, yes, it's not actually overwhelming. It's just this, and this. And all those other things that are running through my head are for later. So then it's a little bit easier to pull yourself out of that overwhelm. And then the most important practice is mindfulness, right? So mindfulness practices, like meditation or yoga, or simply taking deep breaths, can help you stay present and focused, even in the midst of whatever is happening that you think is causing the chaos and the overwhelm. But the best mindfulness tip I have is to be aware of your thoughts, right? That's something I talk about all the time, is, it's so powerful, and it's been powerful in my life, that when I'm overwhelmed, my brain just throws up all kinds of things. And, I know that I can be aware of what's happening, and then I can start to take action, and that removes the overwhelm. Okay. And when that happens, when that overwhelm starts to hit me, I can also just say, hey, and remind myself, I'm wonderful, amazing human, and you're a wonderful, amazing human, and you get to choose what is important for you and needs done in your life, right? Because you are important and you're worthy of doing what you need to do for you as well as for others. And you get to prioritize that in whatever way you want to prioritize it. So, yep, we're going to face moments of overwhelm. It's important to take care of ourselves and ask for help when we need it. So use the ideas that I talked about to overcome overwhelm, and then plan and become aware of your thoughts. So overwhelm just starts to kind of be a distant memory, something that you don't go to very often, because you can easily, once you start to feel that heaviness come on, go, oh no, my brain is just trying to, keep me safe, protect me, make me not do stuff, keep me comfortable, and not do the things that I'm saying I need to do. Okay, so let me check and see if anyone is here with any comments. Okay, I don't see any comments. So, yeah, thanks for joining me today. I hope you found this helpful. Comment, let me know what you found helpful and what you need more information on. And there's always the opportunity for you to let me know, either by email or Messenger and Facebook, or contact me and let me know if you need help on something. Because we can always work through something. I mean, especially if you're in overwhelm and you need a way to get out of it and you're just struggling to get out of it, then send me an email and we can clarify it, and that way we can maybe hop on a quick meeting and kind of help you so that you start to become aware of what you're thinking and how to get yourself out of the overwhelm so that you're overcoming overwhelm. So I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful day, and I will see you guys next Thursday. Bye.